Here are the tools you'll need: a wire tester or voltage tester, electrical tape, wire strippers, a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver. Hi, today I'm going to be teaching you about receptacles or outlets. I'm going to show you how to choose the right outlet for your home and how to wire it correctly and safely. Leviton makes a wide variety of outlets, and I'm going to help you make the smart choice. Let's take a look at them. Here we have a standard duplex outlet. Next we have a tamper-resistant standard duplex outlet. And then we have a tamper-resistant standard duplex outlet with self-grounding clip. Here we have a Decora-style duplex outlet. Next we have a tamper-resistant Decora-style duplex outlet. And lastly, a tamper-resistant Decora-style duplex outlet with self-grounding clip. So I've gone ahead and chose a 15 amp tamper-resistant Decora-style duplex outlet. Now I also chose the one with the self-grounding clip. And the reason I did this is that my box is actually grounded. Now if your box isn't grounded and you have a ground wire, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to install that as well. Let's get started on the installation. So now that I've selected my outlet, I'm ready for installation. But I want to remember safety first. Come to the breaker, shut it off. So now that we've shut off the power, I want to actually take a handheld tester and check the outlet to make sure that power is off, and I see that it is. So now we can go ahead and remove the wall plate and take the old outlet out. So I've gone ahead and completely removed the old outlet. Now I have two cables that are coming into my box, right? So I took the two wires coming out of each cable and just grouped them to the side. Now you'll also notice that I don't have a ground wire or bare copper wire. Now that's actually because the two cables have a ground wire that's attached directly to the box, which is why I chose the outlet with the self-grounding clip. It will actually ground the device to the box and to those ground wires. Now if you don't have this, that's okay. You simply would take your bare copper wire or your ground wire, might also be green, okay? And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put what's called a shepherd's hook in it. Right? And I did this just using a pair of wire strippers. You could also use a pair of needle nose pliers. Right? And you simply just bend, right, and put a little hook in it. And then you would take that hook and on your green screw, right, or your ground screw, you would simply just hook it on. And I want to make sure that the hook is going clockwise. This way, when I tighten the ground screw, I'm actually making sure that it tightens the connection and tightens the hook onto the screw itself. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. And now I'm going to go ahead and wire up the outlet. So the first step before we wire up the device is I want to check all my wires to make sure that I have enough copper exposed. Right? And most of the devices and some of the instruction sheets actually have a strip gauge on the device that you can check to make sure you have enough copper. Now it's roughly about 5/8 of an inch. Now this is going to be important because when I wire it, it actually makes sure that I have a proper connection. Right? And I see for this wire that I need to strip some. So taking my wire strippers, simply clamp on the wire, twist it back and forth, right? Taking your thumb, a little bit of leverage, right? Just kind of push that right off. So now I see that we're good. Then, taking my wire strippers again, you can also use a pair of needle nose. I want to actually put a little twist in there, right? Called our shepherd's hook. Okay, do that. I want to do that with both of these. Okay. And I'm not going to do these other two because I'm going to show you another method for wiring. But if you wanted, you could do all four. Okay. And remember how I grouped these wires together? That's because I want to make sure that these two wires either go to these two screws opposite each other or these two screws opposite each other. Okay? So I want to make sure that my two blacks go on my brass screws, right? And I'm going to just hook that on. Okay? And I want to make sure that it's on clockwise again. Okay? Taking my Phillips head screwdriver, I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down. Okay, get it nice and tight. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I want to make sure that my white wires go on my silver screws. Now remember, I want to make sure that they're opposite each other, right? Because these two wires come from the same cable. So I'll put this one there. Okay, hook it on again. And taking my Phillips, go ahead and tighten that up. So the other method of wiring is actually called quick wire. And you'll notice that there are 4 holes on the back of the outlet, right? And what this allows you to do is take the wire and actually stab it into the hole, and it will grab the wire and make the connection, right? So I'm going to take my black, I'm going to stab it in the hole on the back, right? And I want to make sure that it's associated with the brass terminal, right? And because these 2 wires are coming from the same cable, I want to make sure that they both go to the same screws that are grouped together, right? In this case on the bottom. And I want to make sure that my white goes to my silver, right? Get it in the hole, stab it in, there we go. Okay. So now that that's in, I want to give it a little tug, make sure that it's secure, right? And now I can take my shepherd's hooks for my other 2 wires, and I'll loop that around. Again, I want to make sure that the shepherd's hook goes clockwise with the screw. This way, when I take my Phillips head screwdriver, okay, and I tighten the terminal screw, I'm actually tightening the hook. Make sure you give it a nice good turn, nice and tight. Okay, so now we'll turn it over, and we want to do our white to our silver. Okay. Again, taking my Phillips, tightening the terminal screw. There we go, nice and tight. Okay. Now the last step before we install is I actually want to take a piece of electrical tape. Okay, and it's always a good practice to wrap tape around the device covering the terminal screws. And what this will do is it prevents any unwanted contact between the terminal screws and the side of your box or anything else in the box. Then I'm just going to kind of bend my wires a little, and now we're ready to mount the device. So we've finished mounting the outlet, and now I'm going to put my wall plate on. Okay, and you'll notice that I mounted it with the ground pin down. Now this is totally your preference. You know, you could turn it upside down and have the ground pin up, you know, whatever you like. And I actually like to make sure that while my wall plate screws are vertical, up and down, this actually keeps them from collecting dust. And I'm really happy with the selection I made. They're tamper resistant, which is an actual mechanism that prevents the insertion of objects into the outlet, right? Nice and safe, especially for children. And there you have it, how to install an outlet.